I want to address the idea of training your dog for seizure alert. Um, People have seizures for different reasons, diabetic, epilepsy, and a seizure alert dog seems to be the rarest to find and the hardest to train, possibly. Now, my dog Coco was a seizure alert dog, and what I did with her was I didn't have to train her. Like 15 minutes before I would have a seizure, she would tell me. Or if I was making a video and all of a sudden I was going to have a seizure, she would put her face right in the camera and get me to stop what I was doing. She would push me into my room, keep me from getting up out of a chair. Those were all a result of her being completely connected to what my body, my thinking, my brain was doing. Now, when I got Scout, he's basically right now going to be a mobility dog because I need to be able to get around. But he did something the other day, day before yesterday, that I really feel needs to be mentioned because this is the type of thing you have to watch for and then reinforce and train for if possible. It's been very difficult for me in the past week and a half dealing with, there have been, let's say, 5 or 6 people helping me quite a bit get this dog supplies. A lot of people have helped me. The downside of that for somebody with PTSD is dealing with all these people on a daily basis, taking the dog around to meet new people to keep him socialized, and it's been very difficult. And then on top of it, my legs have been killing me, and I've had to be walking all over the place in pain. So it was a very hard week coming after about 3 weeks of shock of losing my other dog. So I don't know if this is what caused the seizure, but I think it was 2 days ago at about 3 o'clock, I knew I wasn't feeling well. And I knew I was going to have a problem. And when that happens, I'm kind of self-focused. And the dog was not in his crate. He was, we were going in and out or doing whatever we were doing. And I was standing by my kitchen table, and he had never done this before. All of a sudden, he picked up the leash, the one on the right, and that's why I have the camera focused on leashes. And he had just spent like 3 or 4 days meeting all people and knowing that people were outside. He did the same thing Coco used to do. Let's go get help. And he picked up the leash. And up until then, he hadn't paid any attention to the leashes. And all of a sudden he picked it up and I had to take him out. And then there was a woman out there walking her dog, but she was like half a block away, and I didn't realize what he was doing. So I didn't think, well, I need to go talk to her or anything. And this is what happens when you have epilepsy. Your thinking changes, and all of a sudden you're just functioning, but not quite aware of everything. So anyway, the seizure got worse. I actually put him in his crate. I'm, right now, because he's not like Coco Bean and because he's a puppy, I'm teaching him, get in your bed. Because if I have a seizure, I need him to be safe while I have the seizure. So that's where my thinking was. And his thinking was, let's get the leash, let's go outside, and let's go get help. This is when the dog had been here like 6 days. And I didn't realize it until yesterday, which was the day I was like, why was he doing that? So after he did that, for that first time, Then it clicked into him that if he goes and picks up the leash, we go out. And he's done it a total of 3 times since then, but only for the reason that he wanted to go out. So again, dogs are so much smarter than we give them credit for most of the time. But if you're interested in training a dog for seizure alert, you have to look for clues like that. Another example is he's determined. I have service dog sets that I've had them for a few years. It's a whole set of a place mat and comfort collars and leashes and lucided rope toys that actually keep their place. So wherever you put the rope toy is their place. Now he's a little young to appreciate what I'm doing with that, but he had his out and he was flipping them around and lost one. And so it was under a coffee table. I had looked everywhere for it. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I thought it was going to be one of those things that took a long time to find. He knew exactly where it was, and what he did was start chewing a magazine that was in front of it, and I kept correcting him on the chewing. Well, it sunk into me, move everything and find out what's back there, and that's where it was. And that again ties in with get help. The training term I would use for that is let's get help. And both the leash incident, the first leash incident, and the fact that it was 5 or 6 days of this one rope toy missing, and he was determined that he knew where it was and he was going to get it. You have to take that skill of a dog and reinforce get me help or get me to help, let's get help. So if you're going to train for seizure alert, you need to you need to really watch the dog. What is the dog doing? What is the dog telling you? How is the dog helping without even being told to?